what I want to talk about today is the new update that just came out, and I recognize that I don't usually talk through updates, but I think this one was a little bit confusing for a lot of people, so I want to take a second to talk about it and kind of introduce a couple of ideas that I'm going to talk about in my next video. So if you look at the little notice that they give a little bit of an explanation of what was on this update. Since we've got some new features, they're awakening Arslan and Hector, which I'm going to get to, and along with Petyr Baelish, which I'm going to get to in my next video. But they also are announcing that the Army of the Dead event is going to be basically closing that shop, and there'll be a new event afterwards, and I'm really, really excited about that. I'm going to, have some thoughts as to what that might be. Additionally, they've added these descriptions to the commander screen, and I'm going to go to that and talk through a little bit of what that is in just a second. And then they've just done some other bug fixes. So I want to take a second to go to that commander's screen. So when we go over here, we now see there's this little number here next to each of the different commanders. And essentially what I've been able to tell from it is that essentially any of the free-to-play commanders will all be given 15 as their number. So here we can go up to the top here. This is Garel. He's going to be 15 since he's free to play. Haley free to play 15. Arya 15. All those that are free to play will always be 15. Now, getting some variation, basically the first level up is 16, and those are going to be the ones that are basically the 15 medals when you buy their 50 Black Diamond packs. So, for example, Lyanna Waters, that's 16. The other 16s are going to be like Sinara. I got to scroll all the way down here. 16. Oh, sorry, not Sinara. Totally wrong about that. The other ones would be. Sorry, Andrea. Where's Andrea? Oh, she's awoken. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Andrea will be 16. There you go. And the last one would be, I think, Miranda. Yep, 16. There you go. Now, all of the ones that are kind of the step above that are 10 Black Diamond cost, those are all going to be 17. So Julian, Layla is going to be 17. I think Raymond 17. Yep, Raymond 17. Any of those will all be 17. And I think this actually includes Seg as well. Nope, Seg's 18. Okay, well, we'll get to 18 in a second. But any of the ones that are 50 Black Diamonds where they're just giving kind of the basic upgrades, those are going to be 17. Now, 18 are some of the newer commanders. So that's Enzo that gives the 40%. Apparently Seg is also 18. Annie is 18. I believe, I want to say... Yep, so Latz is 18 because she's, again, one of those giving 40%. So that's the basic breakdown. You can kind of tell if it's giving kind of those bonus. Salma's news, that's 18. But that's the basic code. I think that, like, they randomly have Sabrina as 18 as well. I don't know that I totally agree with that, but hey, why not? So let's see if we go down to Tyrion. They also have Tyrion at 18, I believe. Yep. I don't really know why, but they're saying he's worth 18. I guess he is a lot of research, and he's kind of difficult to get. So by that logic, they're making him high. Hector is just a 16, so I guess Hector's the other 16 along with the other 3 that are 15, which makes sense because when you buy Hector, he gives 15 badges. And then I think Simon's actually 18 as well. Yep, Simon's 18. So basically all the ones that are really difficult for you to get, that are just grindable. So that's, again, Sabrina, Simon, Seg, all those are also 18s. And then I think that both Annie and then I also think that Marjorie's 18 as well. Now, the last grouping of them is the top 5 commanders, of which I do not own. Hold on one second. And here they are. So as you can see, they are all rank 20. They are kind of the top. Oh, it doesn't show it there. But as you can see on this screen, they are 20 is their differentiation. And those are, of course, the top 5 that are a little more expensive. So I think that this is a good metric for you to just be able to see, okay, this commander costs more. It's going to probably be overall a little bit better based on that number. but I also don't think that it tells the whole story. I wouldn't necessarily be choosing an 18 cost commander like Marjorie, let's say, for an attack formation just because she's 18, or Raymond because he's 17. Like, there are other commanders that may be better off situationally for attack or for research or whatever else you might have. So the other thing I wanted to note was the awakenings of Arslan, Hector, and Petyr Baelish. So let's quickly take a look at Arslan's awakening. So specifically, he has this. So first of all, he's going to be getting the same basic for all the free-to-play commanders. This is going to be, I believe, so 1.5 times 12 is going to be, is that 18% spear attack, spear health, and spear defense. So 18%, definitely good. But you also have this new level 4 tier upgrade, where in battle, every 8 seconds, Arslan's going to heal 2% of the wounded allied troops. Then we also have the new one on Hector. 2 down here. And on Hector, his says after the first army active skill damage is taken, then you're going to immediately heal 15% of the troops lost damage, and you're also going to increase your own attack by 15%. And then Petyr Baelish, who just recently came out, we can actually take a look at his now. His skill says basically when all enemy commanders, when 8 weakness attacks have been initiated by the allied lineups, or 25 seconds after the battle begins, enemy commanders have an 80% chance of falling into disharmony for the entire battle. Disharmony means 50% chance of attacking any lineups at the front of own troops when using an active skill. So this is huge. I mean, that is a big buff. Just to kind of explain what that means, so the enemy commanders every so often will do their active skill. Those are the ones that are kind of just the base, based on the attack of those troops and of that commander. So as you can see, for him, it is called, Cat's Paw Dagger. That's his active skill. And when he is at full gold and 4-star, he will get 200% of that attack, and it'll be a lower cooldown the higher stars that you get him. But essentially, that attack would get reflected 50% of the time once they're in disharmony onto your own troops, and that's a pretty big deal. Sometimes those attacks can be dealing a lot of damage, especially if it's straight counter. They can really deal a lot, so that's definitely a very considerable difference it's going to make, and it's really about getting that to activate as quickly as possible. The ways to get Petyr Baelish awoken is through the wheel that they just released of him. So they just released a wheel where you can get him here. It's a pretty expensive way to do it, but if you really want to grind it, obviously you can do that and get him awoken. I do not have anything about Petyr Baelish awoken, so can't really do that for you guys. But I'm sure we'll get some reports soon, so we can talk a little bit about it. So definitely kind of an interesting little update that we have here. I definitely really just think that this scoring system is interesting. And there's kind of one last thing that I want to note, and this is going to tie in directly to what I wanted to talk about for my next video. And that is if you click on this up here, it gives you this kind of breakdown of the overall score. So again, it's 18, and then it kind of gives you this breakdown of what exactly it's good for. So for example, Annie gives total army bonus, so that's good. Gives a spearman bonus, that's good, and then a female skill setup. And what that means is kind of directing you to different lineup recommendations that they give right here. And I'm going to do a video next discussing what those different lineup recommendations are, because I wanted to take an entire video just to dedicate to it, because it is really interesting, and I think it's worth people kind of understanding. But essentially, this is kind of to help guide you with that, and since they're providing this, I wanted to give a little more detail so people could understand. This is what the max accounts and the really high level players are doing right now, is they're paying attention to these skills and making usage of them, and that's what is making their battle reports so strong, frankly. So stay tuned for that. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this update. I think it's actually a really great update. They've brought a lot to the table, and it's really interesting. And I'm glad that they're doing this, because it's going to help kind of level out the player base and increase the strategy that people are using. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Please please watch my next video where I'm going to get a little more into what exactly the female skill setup would be. And there's also a healing setup that they've just been developing, and I'll talk a little bit about that one as well. But I'll show right here. There's that one going to be. So stay tuned. I'm going to get into that in my next video. But until next time, my name is TyrionLanstr. I'll see you then.